Delaware Right to Life, Nicole Collins, if you'll stand so they know you, and Delaware Pro-Life Coalition, of which I chair, and the UD Student Pro-Life Vanguard Group. Is anybody here from the UD? They're all on spring vacation. That's very unfortunate, but they've been very supportive. That president is Gina Paladente. So please check out these groups on the websites, and if you have children that are at the University of Delaware, please get them involved in the Student Pro-Life Vanguard group. And I want to tell you that for 21 years we did have an education event, a very long one. It was a full day and a banquet event, and that took place up until 2008. And the Board of Delaware Right to Life felt like this year we should try a pilot project of a smaller nature. The other boards joined in, and we've been very honored that we have our nurses primarily, local nurses, who have stepped up to the plate, and we've decided that we have quality speakers right here among us. I don't think we give nurses enough credit. We used to bring national speakers here. Some were nurses. They were across the board, all different philosophies and disciplines. And we do owe them a debt of gratitude. They had upheld our mission statement, which is to protect human life from the moment of conception to natural death. And one of the things we did throughout those 21 years was always to start our program with memorializing some of the folks who we owed a debt of gratitude. And if you'll take your program and turn to the back page, you'll see a little rose as we want to remember some very special people in our lives. You may not know them, but they have had an influence on this education mission. Some of them for many years, some of them very profound educators. Pauline Swan was a local grandmother. If you listen to John Watson, she was just about on there every day defending life. Dr. Bernard Nathanson, I'm sure many of you know that name. Dr. Nathanson was an abortionist who was actually on the NARAL side of the table. And he saw Silent Scream back in the early 70s. And he was so moved by watching the unborn child go through the abortion procedure that then, as a non-believer and actually an atheist, he recognized the humanity of the preborn child, Dr. Bernard Nathanson. And he passed away this last year. We do have I want you to see, there's a little bit of his story on the back. And we move to Dr. Mildred Jefferson. I met her. No, I want to make sure. Daryl Sims. And Daryl Sims was from our state of Delaware and very much involved in the African-American fight for recognizing their humanity of their children as well that are affected by the Black genocide. And maybe you might be able to tell them more about Daryl Sims, but he was young. He died much too young. And he frequented our events and was always very supportive and died very untimely. And his message will be carried on. I mentioned also Dr. Mildred Jefferson. I want you to see, if you get a minute to look. Dr. Mildred Jefferson was a Harvard Medical graduate, the first African-American to graduate from Harvard Medical School. And she was a pioneer in the pro-life message before Roe v. Wade. And I'm sorry I misspelled Irene Hannes. Irene Hannes was a sidewalk counselor, a prayerful sidewalk counselor. And I think her most momentous time was the day that she was outside of a nursing home praying for the young woman, Lauren Richardson, who was inside, and her tube feeding was about to be taken out by the state of Delaware. And profoundly, the mother came out, and the mother of Lauren had chance to visit with Irene, and none of us knew that Irene felt that her son had been removed from vital support much too soon. She carried that burden. She was able to share that with the mother of another child who was about to fall victim to the same process. And those two bonded immediately, and it was a profound moment. And to Irene, we owe a debt of gratitude, her many years of praying, also outside of abortion clinics. Pat Condiff always, she was a Pennsylvania woman, very devoted to the pro-life movement. I mentioned her. Her husband has called. He's now up in his senior years. He's down in Virginia, and he bids us well this morning. He keeps in touch with us. Tijuana Watts. This is a very special young person on our list. She came through a crisis pregnancy working with Mindomania in Delaware City to save her baby and to help promote respect for life and to champion life among her young peers. And she and her two young children, 2 or 3 young children, died a horrible death in Delaware City this past year as they burned to death in their home. And keep the family in prayer. Just think how the Lord used her in that very short amount of time to touch lives. And for that, we call on them to rest in peace. You will be missed. Thank you for your courage and to stand up for those who have no voice. 2 other names just from the past that we want to mention. This is the anniversary of Terri Schiavo's death, and Pope John Paul II, who also championed the cause for life, as we all know. And I have just a short prayer that I'd like to say